is the dawn of a new era in British karting. Over 550 drivers in 12 classes competing for victory over 18 race weekends. This is the Motorsport UK British Kart Championships.
Chris Whitton takes the flag.
Going to be enough for
TKM's next champion.
to win again in TKM Extreme.
Rylan Ashberg decides to make the switch halfway through the Honda Cadet Cup this season as the youngster in the 73 chassis moves from Project 1 to Ambition Motorsport, with the key goal in mind being that of moving up the table, and he has been working hard with the team to do so.
And now I've joined Ambition. I've had a good weekend so far. I managed to qualify P8 overall, and then in the first heat I finished 5th but I got a drop down, so I finished 9th. And then in my second heat I managed to finish 6th, but someone got a drop down in front of me, so I finished 5th. So hopefully that gives me a good position for the final. Well, we're just trying to nail the kart setup and trying to get the most out of it. And they're also making sure that my lines are good and I'm driving correctly, so I can go as fast as possible. So hopefully I can repay them by getting a good result.
The grid is as follows. Mitchell Gibbons, the English champion from Ambition Motorsport, will be on pole position, having had a great battle with Keen Nakamura Berta, who showed signs of disappointment post-race on the first final this weekend. Then it's Connor Duncan and Ethan Simmons. Ben Rayburn and Jack Hobson round out the next row on the grid, ahead of Sonny Smith, Zach Drummond, Josh Agenbar and Freddie Hull rounding out the top 10. Then it's Thomas Cucurulo Yeomans, Cruz Speakman, Stephen Duncan, Henry Jocelyn, Gustav Susakos, Callie Clifford, Danny Shields, Sonny Mortensen, Aidan Mitchell, Jacob Gilman, Bradley Bick, Jaden Gregg, Jai Lawrence, Lewis Islin, Reg Hayward, Callum Ghosh, Michael Morgan, Jensen Graham, Alfie Thompson, Oscar Tuton, Josh Rudd, Ewan Charman, Rylan Ashberg and Wesley Swain. And we go lights out here for the final time this weekend at Shenington, and the Honda Cadet Cup Round 8 is underway. Gibbons gets the initial advantage. Nakamura Berta, Duncan, then Rayburn, there was a little bit of a tussle involving Freddie Hull. Freddie Hull was pushed a little bit wide there. Looked to be involving Cruz Speakman, I believe. So Freddie Hull had nowhere to go with the number 99 from Ambition, ending up nigh on 4 wheels on the grass. As Nakamura Berta really trying to put pressure early on Gibbons. As Duncan, Rayburn. Now, what has happened, I'm just keeping an eye on where Ethan Simmons is at the moment, the number 23, part of the Young Racing Driver Academy, and is currently in with the Cutting Edge Racing stable. Lead is now coming around to complete lap number 1. 14 minutes and 2 seconds plus an additional lap. And I tell you what, you're going to have to keep an eye on this guy who we spoke to earlier on, Rylan Ashberg. He's already up 4 places up to 29th. So Rylan Ashberg, who unfortunately was involved in an incident that caused him to not take part in the first final this afternoon, prompted a full restart. But Rylan Ashberg took 3rd place. He switched from Project 1 Racing to Ambition Motorsport, and is instantly proving to be a very good friend to his teammates, but also a very good acquisition for the team as well, led by team principal Paul James. But Mitchell Gibbons at the moment is still keeping, it's game on yet again. And where is Ethan Simmons? He's currently in 5th place at the moment, and he's got just behind him, it looks to be Jack Hobson and Sonny Smith, Zach Drummond, Henry Jocelyn, who took pole in qualifying when it was an Ambition Motorsport 1, 2, 3, as there's more positions being gained. And you've got to watch out for the guys in 25th, 26th and 27th position. But another young driver on the move, one of the privateers, Callie Clifford, who's come flying back from the repechage earlier on today. She's now up into 13th and is ahead of fullback final number 2 winner Jaden Gregg from Heinz Racing. They round out the top 14. So Rylan Eschberg currently has done a 52.77 as his best lap time. But obviously with traffic notwithstanding, it's going to be very difficult to try and make his way through, as Ethan Simmons now up into 4th position and has got past Jack Hobson. A swarm of Honda cadets go through Cafe Corner with the likes of Aidan Mitchell, Josh Rudd, Oscar Tewton, who's clawed his way up to 24th position. Stephen Duncan from Project One, unfortunately, is languishing a bit further down the order, right at the very back, to be honest. But the battle at the front, Gibbons versus Nakamura Berta, is quite clearly on. And when you consider what's happened in the championship thus far, they were equal on points coming into this race. And if it were to finish right now, Gibbons would make it a 3-point disadvantage into a 6-point swing, which would put him 3 points ahead of Keen Nakamura Berta in the title fight. And they have pulled a huge gap over Connor Duncan. But it's not Connor Duncan that's in 3rd. Ethan Simmons. He was on the podium back at Rissington a handful of weeks ago, but now he's back into 3rd position. He climbed his way up to 4th, starting in 12th in the first final. And I tell you what, there is more changes. 10 positions gained by Rylan Eschberg from Ambition Motorsport. He's on the move. And I tell you what, he's only 8 seconds away from the leaders. We still have 10 minutes and 53 seconds plus an additional lap. No, make that 10 minutes and 45 plus an additional lap. Still to go. Coming to the conclusion of the first third of this Honda Cadet Cup second final of the weekend. And it is still even Stevens. You can't pull these two apart from each other. They are locked truly into battle as Ethan Simmons is up into 3rd. That's a real good showing from the Young Racing Driver Academy stablemate of Jem Hepworth, who currently competes in the Rotax Championship. So Zach Drummond gets past Ben Rayburn for 7th position. Thomas Cucurulo-Yeomans up into the top 10, as is Henry Jocelyn. Freddie Hull has unfortunately dropped down 7 positions as a result of the move that I think that Cucurulo-Yeomans, he tried to go past around the outside of Hull. Hull had nowhere to go and went nearly 4 wheels onto the grass off of Pitts Bend. As the leaders now coming through the exit of Wilkins onto the main straightaway, they're going to come across the start-finish line. Nakamura Berta and Gibbons, pretty much even Stevens on pace. And I tell you what, Ethan Simmons has matched them on lap time. Connor Duncan, the fastest out of the top 4 by 1/100th of a second. Drivers are going to have to be very, very careful coming out of Cafe Corner when they run wide. They're going to have to try and negate the fact that they might exercise due caution towards track limits. We've had a couple of warning flags already. We've had one to the number 6, and that is Sonny Smith, who's currently sitting in 6th position. We've had a warning flag to the number 35, and that's Zach Drummond. There's been a few other changes. Lewis Islin's dropped all the way down to 32nd. Cruz Speakman, in the meantime, is showing down in 31st according to the timing screen, so there's been quite a few changes. And Sonny Smith has got past Jack Hobson for position, and he is leading a trio of Synergy Race Team karts. So Hobson and Drummond slotting in behind Sonny Smith, as Rudd getting very close there with Alfie Thompson and goes around the outside of the number 82 going through Pitts Bend. So that was very good driving there from Josh Rudd. My apologies, is the 82, and Alfie Thompson's the 87. But at the minute here, it's still very much even Stevens, I think, between the two at the front. As Nakamura Berta has no answer thus far for Mitchell Gibbons. Gibbons, last week's English plate champion, and also he won the category here as the Shenington Super Prix, taking the SP plate. So he's not going to let the number 5 from Project One Racing get past him. We saw what happened in final number 1 when Nakamura Berta put his race helmet in his hands after the flag when it was literally a hair's breadth between him and Gibbons, but Gibbons took it. The pair come through the Bruno chicane. Now they power out on the quick right-hand kink through into Hanger Straight before they head to Hanger Corner. So we've gone past the half-time, the elapsed half-time. The clock ticking down, 7 minutes and 10 seconds, plus an additional lap left to go in this final race of the weekend. So Gibbons not letting Nakamura Berta pass, no matter what the Japanese driver does, as the pair go line astern through Pitts Bend. Connor Duncan and Ethan Simmons embroiled in this battle for a position. And now I have to say this, Rylan Eschberg, what a recovery so far in the last 8 or so minutes. The number 73 from Ambition Motorsport, Rylan Eschberg, up 13 places to 20th. He's hit the top 20. That's real good showing, and I tell you what, there is still plenty more time for maybe even a top 15 finish from the youngster that made the switch just a few weeks ago to join Ambition Motorsport. We've had a warning flag for the number 87 there, and that is for Alfie Thompson, as Nakamura Berta and Gibbons are still not relenting. Neither wants to move aside, neither wants to give quarter, and I tell you what, Gibbons is doing his absolute utmost to just look forward, not see where Nakamura Berta is. By keeping those blinkers on, Mitchell Gibbons could be definitely on road to victory. He's picked one up this weekend. Nakamura Berta got 62 points in the first final, so it would be a maximum score of 130 for the driver that was formerly the number 81, but now will be running with the English plate. 5 minutes and 18, Gibbons and Nakamura Berta. The stalemate continues. The who blinks first test, very much case in point, as it is with Ethan Simmons. And then there's also, well, there's been a bit of a gesticulation there for Ben Rayburn, who I think has just been, might have been compromised through an incident there. So you might have had the likes of Rayburn and Jocelyn around, and Cucurullo Yeomans. So running order at the moment, Gibbons leads from Nakamura Berta by a hair's breadth, not even a tenth of a second. Ethan Simmons ahead of Connor Duncan. They're battling over third. Sonny Smith, Jack Hobson, Zach Drummond, Danny Shields, Ben Rayburn and Henry Jocelyn round out the top 10. Cucurullo Yeomans in 11th, head of Greg Agambar, Bick, Yosakos, Tuton, Charman, Clifford, Thompson, Eschberg, Swain, Gilman, Mortensen. But that has quite clearly changed, as Henry Jocelyn is now in 8th, head of Shields, Greg Agambar, Cucurullo Yeomans, Bick, Yosakos and Rayburn rounding out the top 15. Then it's Tuton, Sharman, Clifford, Thompson, Swain, Eschberg now down into 21st, having been passed by the number 92. Mortensen, Gilman, Freddie Hull and Josh Rudd complete the top 25, head of Jai Lawrence, Reg Hayward, Callum Ghosh, Michael Morgan, Cruz Speakman, Aidan Mitchell, Lewis Islin, Stephen Duncan and Jensen Graham. We're getting into the last 3 minutes and 45 seconds of this race meeting, and the tension is still very high at the front of the field, because Mitchell Gibbons has been putting on a masterclass and he is not relenting. He knows where to place that car. He is keeping Key Nakamura Berta at bay. It's a repeat of what we saw, but the thing is that Mitchell Gibbons has not only done a number on Nakamura Berta last time out, he has been leading from lights out, and that is almost 12 minutes ago. They head through the Bruno chicane. The cat and mouse game continues. It's Ambition versus Project One, and behind it's Cutting Edge and Hines Racing competing over what is effectively third position. Sonny Smith holding station in fifth. So the main thing is that when will Nakamura Berta strike to force Mitchell Gibbons to retaliate? Because it could happen. It's about strategy. It is about making that decisive move, where you position the kart, when you decide to power out of the corner? Are you going to carry the momentum by using the outside line off of the racing line to swing the kart in, kiss the apex that little bit cleaner and get the run past your opponent coming out of the corner? Nakamura Berta hasn't quite done that yet, but there is still time. We've seen this before, we might see it again, but Mitchell Gibbons has just around 3 minutes to go, 3 or so minutes to go. We are into pretty much the final 2 minutes. That's 120 seconds plus an additional lap left to go. Mitchell Gibbons is still leading the way. I cannot believe how much of a composed drive this has been from Mitchell Gibbons, and Nakamura Berta I think might be feeling now that because the time's running out, is it going to be that the Japanese driver might feel a little bit powerless? Is he going to have to settle for second because he had no choice, because Gibbons pounced on him in the first final and got past him through the Bruno chicane? So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Right, red flag with just over 90 seconds to go. So with 1 minute and 33 seconds plus an additional lap, we have just had a red flag incident for the third time here in Honda Cadet Cup this weekend. I can't give you an update, but I will give you the full order as of this could mean that we have a stop to the meeting early, as we are that far entrenched into the last final. At the moment of the red flag, Mitchell Gibbons was leading ahead of Keen Nakamura Berta, Ethan Simmons in third, Connor Duncan, Sonny Smith in fifth. When we have a further update, medics may be called, and they have been. If I can give you a further update before we end this broadcast, I will do so in due course. So please await our further information, as we have a red flag situation here at Shenington. We have just been informed by the race director and clerk of the course that the meeting has been officially called. So we will now be ending our broadcast, but with one final time. I will give you the running order under such dramatic circumstances. Medical teams are on the way at the moment. Mitchell Gibbons wins by 0.05 because they went back to the previous lap, ahead of Keen Nakamura Berta. Ethan Simmons takes third, giving him another podium this weekend, ahead of Connor Duncan, Sonny Smith, Jack Hobson, Zach Drummond, Henry Jocelyn, Jaden Gregg, Danny Shields running at the top 10, ahead of Josh Agenbar, Gustav Susakos, Bradley Bick, Thomas Cucurullo-Yeomans, Oscar Chewton running at the top 15, with Ewan Charman, Alfie Thompson, Ben Rayburn, Callie Clifford, Wesley Swain running at the top 20, with Roland Eschberg 21st, ahead of Sonny Mortensen, Jacob Gilman, Freddie Hull, Josh Rudd, Joy Lawrence, Chris Speakman, Reg Hayward, Callum Ghosh, Aidan Mitchell, Michael Morgan, Lewis Islin, Stephen Duncan and Jensen Graham completing the 34-strong running order. Despite the last final of the weekend for Honda Cadets being abruptly shortened through a red flag stoppage with just 90 seconds remaining, it was between the likes of Mitchell Gibbons, Keen Nakamura Berta, Connor Duncan and Ethan Simmons that would claim the spoils on the podium, but Mitchell Gibbons has turned a 3-point deficit into now a 3 points championship lead, with the Honda Cadet Cup getting really exciting as they head to the penultimate round at Kimbolton in early September.
Well, with the heats and the qualifying not really going my way, it kind of seemed a little bit out of reach, but to finish with a third is a great achievement considering the circumstances.
We don't have a good weekend. It was quite unlucky. In the first final, I locked up into the Bruno chicane, which cost me the race. And in final 2, the race finished with a red flag, even though we hadn't really raced yet. I really want to just win there, not really mainly thinking about points, so in my mind.
It's always a challenge when you've got such a good driver such as Kian by your side, but it's just a good battle. It gave me quite a lot of confidence coming to the British Champs, knowing that I won the E plate and the SP plate.